You talked about Brahma's day.
He talked about yes.
You talked about Brahma's day and night.
Correct.
So all the so all the manifestation happens when it is the daytime of all the living.
Correct.
Living entities.
4,32,000
4,32,000 for value. You add them because 8,64,000. That is for the before this individual.
1296. 1728. Yes.
That is all.
That's that. No. So that's 33 lakh years. That's one Divya Yuga, which means a combination of 4 yugas, and thousands such Divya Yugas is 12 hours of Lord Brahma, and similar 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas is 12 hours of Lord Brahma, and similar is night.
When it's day manifest, then again unmanifest, then it is night of.
Correct.
And again it is 3 cycles. Cycle goes on.
Correct. When it is unmanifest, what happens to us?
You want to go back to the Supreme Lord.
To the Supreme Lord. Wow. That would be good. What happens when the day of Brahma ends? By the way, the day of Brahma, for reference, is also called as Kalpa, one Kalpa. Kalpa, right? Okay. So when there is end of a Kalpa, what happens?
We are in the sleeping position.
Yes. Where are we sleeping? In the navel of Mahavishnu, yes. Yes. In the navel, जहाँ से लोटस निकला था वहीं पे बंद हो करके वापस चला जाता है. Like that. Okay. Nice. Anything else from previous class?
When we go to bedford, there the cycle of manifest unless we get over.
Correct.
And we want to become, we are happy over there with him. So
Right. Okay. Anything else?
Dr. Sloka will add.
Dr. Frog, yes. Prabhuji's favorite example. Yes. It's trying to measure the ocean with his limited knowledge. Yes. Anything you remember? Anything else?
There's a in bedroom there is a tree like kalpa which
Okay.
fulfill all your desires. There is a place which will get.
Flavored milk.
No, she said
Unlimited milk you will get, and then flavored also you will get.
Correct.
And then there are touchstones which
Correct.
fulfill all your desires.
Yes.
that is it.
We have one more Kalpavriksha. You know that? Hare Krishna.
And we also, I think, talked about the mirror image of one tree in the pond.
वो कल हम क्लास में डिस्कस किए थे वो है लास्ट संडे का नहीं. So there is one more Kalpavriksha. You know what that is? It's available to us. Huh? It's called. Everyone says that is, yes. But there is a Kalpavriksha which is easily accessible to us. Chanting, okay. Huh? Yes. Yes. So when we chant the Mangalacharan, right? We say Vancha Kalpataru Bhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayavacha Patitanam Bhavanekha Vaishnavya Kalpataru Vancha. We are paying obeisances to, right, devotees who are just like desire fulfilling trees, Kalpavriksha, like that. They can fulfill the desires of everyone. So, कभी पूछा प्रभु से कुछ? मैं तो पूछता रहता हूँ प्रभु करते रहते bless. Anyways, so the idea is not that he'll give you everything in terms of material things, but yeah, he can bestow the highest, or devotees, the Vaishnavas can bestow the highest perfection to you. Okay, so we'll start today's Sloka 21, 22, 22. We've done Avyakta Akshara here first.
Was the last. I should have
Actually, you started but did not. Did not. ठीक है. So we discussed how there is like you already mentioned, Vaikuntha planet, which is unmanifest to our eyes. Unmanifest doesn't mean it's, doesn't have a form, etc. But it's unmanifest to our eyes, right? And it's always existing, like in the previous shloka discussed. It's always existing. Everything is annihilated, but that thing is never annihilated. Let's chant the 22nd shloka. Purusha sa para partha bhaktya labhyastva anyaya yasyantah sthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. Purusha sa para partha bhaktya labhyastva anyaya yasyantah sthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam.
Purusha sa para partha
Purusha sa para partha
bhaktya labhyasya vanyaya
bhaktya labhyastva anyaya
yasyantah sthani bhutani
yasyantah sthani bhutani
yena sarvamidam tatam.
yena sarvam idam tatam. Anyone else wants to try? पहले आप पहला कर लो. Yes.
Purusha sa para partha
Purusha sa para partha
bhaktya labhyasya anyaya
bhaktya labhyasva anyaya yasyantah sthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. What else? That's right.
Purusha sa para partha
Purusha sa para partha
bhaktya labhyasva anyaya
bhaktya labhyasva anyaya
yasyantah sthani bhutani
yasyantah sthani bhutani
yena sarvam idam tatam.
yena sarvam idam tatam. Someone can read the translation, please. You don't have a book? Go ahead.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading and everything is present to him.
Okay. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading and everything is situated within him. So, इसके पहले जो भगवान बता रहे हैं that okay, there is the supreme abode of mind which is unmanifest, etc. The devotee may think, "Arey, it's too far-fetched," right? कहाँ भगवान को ढूंढे जा करके. So the Lord is clarifying here that the Supreme Lord, who is greater than all, is attainable. ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब I am unattained. I am attainable by unalloyed devotion, right? And although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading. Although I am there, but I am also everywhere, right? Unalloyed, yes. What is an alloy? Alloy is mixture of metals, right? It's not pure form of metal. Alloy means when two or three metals mixed together, like aluminum के साथ में जो और मिला दिया, right? Unalloyed means without any mixtures, pure. So without any ulterior motives. So I am doing bhakti because it's financially good, right? So halaki हाँ ठीक है, there is something spiritual, but there are so many contacts to build. There are people of high caliber coming to ISKCON. So I'll build my contact, I'll build my business, I'll build my profile, etc. Whatever. That's mixed devotion with some other intention, right? Or अरे अच्छा प्रसाद मिलता है बस. So yeah. So there could be many forms of mixtures like that. Some people are only there for earning some scholarship. They are like they want to show off in front of people how knowledgeable they are, right? And there are many people even outside. Forget coming to ISKCON. There are many people outside also who will study scriptures because they want to look cool, who would actually write commentaries or book stories, right? मेरे को एक मिला था, somebody pinged me on LinkedIn, right? And he's like, your interest and my interest are extremely similar. I'm like, okay, how? So it's like, even I am a fan of Krishna. I'm like, okay, great, you're a fan of Krishna, all right. I've written a book called I Krishna. Like, I Krishna, wow. Interesting. What is the book about? So it's like, nobody has shown the human side of Krishna, right? How his emotions were during the war of Mahabharata, how he felt pain, how he, his emotions are not captured everywhere. Okay. So it was all mental speculation, right? And he kind of pinged me every now and then, hey, have you read my book? Did you order my book? So to become famous, people write commentaries on Bhagavad-gita, people write such kind of books. Even one person in my organization, he was also, supposedly an expert in mythology. Bye. Mythology. He doesn't understand the fact that our scriptures are not myth. Right? So I don't know what book he will write. Yeah. So yeah, so that's like alloyed. So unalloyed, right? Undeviated, like that. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading and everything is situated within him. So Bhagwan कण में है और सब कुछ भगवान में है. It's both. So Yashoda Mai, when she saw in the mouth of Krishna, right, in the entire universe, she also saw herself seeing again peeking into the mouth of Krishna. Like, so I know the Virat Rupas, Krishna manifested there also. So here in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that it is here clearly stated that supreme destination from which no one returns, the abode of Krishna. Brahma Samhita describes this abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of bliss. All variegatedness manifest there is of the quality of spiritual bliss. Nothing there is material. So again, I think the reference you picked up. So the material universe is actually an upside down reflection of the spiritual world. So in the 15th chapter, right, it's described Urdhva Mula Madha Shakham. ये पूरा जो जगत है ये आध्यात्मिक जगत का रिफ्लेक्शन है. And Prabhupada gave a very nice example. He was describing how man is made in the image of God. In one of the classes, he was describing how man is made in the image of God. So he was saying that you in front of a mirror, you try to feed everything to the mirror. क्या होगा? Right? You'll be frustrated. You cannot serve the reflection. You have to serve the person. When you serve the person is eating the food, the reflection is also eating the food. Right? So we are like reflection of God in one sense because our form is made as a reflection in a sense that Lord has 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 ears. We also have like that. So when you're serving the Supreme, right, the reflection is also, enjoying. If you're enjoying, the reflection is enjoying. So if Krishna is enjoying the reflection, everyone is satisfied. Like that. You want to add something? So it's described as that spiritual abode is full of rasa, ananda chinmaya rasa. Right? So Krishna is actually expert. He's enjoyer, but he's an expert enjoyer. His practice is to enjoy Anandamaya Abhyasa, and he is extremely expert. And the highest form of pleasure or enjoyment is between 2 people or in a relationship, in those loving exchanges, right? So he's Rasaraj, right? He knows exactly what you're feeling and what to give you at a particular time. You see, they say, I think in Chaitanya Leela, so depending on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood, right? Swarup Damodar would immediately compose. Swarup Damodar is actually incarnation of Lalita Sakhi. And he was one of the very, very close associates. In fact, the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita is nothing but, from the notes or diaries of Swarup Damodar. And so, Karchas, they would call them, diary. तो उनके डायरी में से नोट्स जो मिले उसमें से चैतन्य चरितामृत का सारा रेफरेंस मिला कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी को. So Swarup Damodar will immediately, sing as per the mood of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, he's seen Jagannath, he's, feeling separation in a particular way, not that generic separation. In a particular way, he's feeling separation. Swarup Damodar instantly at that point in time will compose, nice prayers for Krishna, which, supports the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu will be like, in so much bliss hearing, Swarup Damodar sing. So like that, he would compliment Mahaprabhu's mood every now and then. So Mahaprabhu, used to, in fact, everyone who would ever get anything, कुछ भी compose करके किसी ने लाया, he would make them go through Swarup Damodar. कि पहले उनको सुना क्या वो approve करेंगे तब मेरे पास आना, like that. So Swarup Damodar was extremely expert like that. Yeah, why did I get here? I don't know. Yeah. So Krishna like that. So similarly, Krishna like that, he understands, what emotions we are going through, how to reciprocate to a devotee. Right? If somebody is coming with a mixture of, unalloyed devotion, even, right? So how to reciprocate so that gradually, he gives up those, other ulterior motives, right? Even when we desire something material, Krishna fulfills those desires in such a way that, bhai, chahiye nahi abhi wo. Right? The devotee gives up that desire and, progresses. थोड़ा बहुत कुछ और रहेगा तो फिर उसमें भी, he'll try and reciprocate in such a way that you will slowly and steadily give up material desires and then become more and more attached to him. And I think the famous example I've narrated the story, of the thief who was, just remembering Shyam Sundar, right? Vrindavan, Shyam Sundar, Vrindavan. You all have heard the story, I'm sure. So his desire was to steal from Krishna, but then Krishna stole his heart. So that's how, the Lord, he is very, very expert, and like I think a few classes ago we were discussing, and this is a sign of greatness, that Krishna sees the one small spark of devotion. थोड़ा भी ऐसा अच्छा ही दिखेगा ना कहीं थोड़ा सा भी, and or some little devotion here and there for him. So he found the spark. He'll ignore everything else. He'll ignore, all your mountains of sins, all, काम क्रोध जो भी भरा पड़ा है सब ignore कर देंगे. He'll just see that small spark of little, कहीं इधर उधर devotion कहीं से तो आ गया, right? And what do you do? Start fanning that spark, so that it becomes bigger and bigger into a fire, and then consumes the entire mountain of sins. Okay. Here, I think in the purport something interesting, right? Different forms of Vishnu. So you should actually hear some names. You should also know some names. Even if you don't remember, it's okay. Hearing is very, very special. So let's say that. The Vedas compare to the Lord to a tree standing still, yet bearing many fruits, flowers, and changing leaves. Again, this is very nice. I think in today morning's class only, Maharaj was discussing how Prabhupada requested Radha Raspberry, dear sir, please stand here and I'll build you a temple, right? And I think Hanuman Prabhu, he commented saying that, even Vithalji, he was standing because his devotee was serving his parents. So he also requested, here's a brick, stand on the brick and, give darshan to everyone and, deliver everyone like that. So, this is my name. So Vedas compare the Lord to a tree standing still, yet bearing many varieties of fruits, flowers, and changing leaves. The plenary expansions of the Lord who preside over Vaikuntha planets are four-armed, and they are known by variety of names. So, in Vaikuntha planets, there are several Vaikuntha planets, and I think there are 24 primary forms of Vishnu. There are multiple as such because permutation, combination. So depending on what Shankha Chakra Gada Padma हाथ में जो भगवान लेते हैं, कौन से हाथ में क्या पकड़ा है, the name changes like that. So here some of the names are given. Right? Purushottama, Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesha, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Sridhara, Vasudev, Damodar, Janardana, Narayan, Vamana, Padmanabh, etc. Even when we apply tilak, for example, we chant these different Vishnu names, right? Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha, Madhavaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha, right? Vishnuvaya Namaha, Om Madhus, huh? No, Vaman Devaya Namaha, sorry. Vaman Devaya Namaha, Shridharaya Namaha, Rishikeshaya Namaha. नहीं श्रीधर ऋषि का कैसे यहाँ पे है श्री मैं तिलक भूल गया मधुसूदनाय नमः त्रिविक्रमाय नमः वामदेवाय नमः श्रीधराय नमः ऋषिकेशाय नमः पद्मनाभाय नमः दामोदराय नमः like that. So these are different we are praying to different deities of Lord Vishnu for protection. This is actually for our protection. So tilak is decoration of the body is considered as temple, and the tilak is to decorate the body. So that where Lord Vishnu himself resides, and we are also requesting protection. So even Krishna, he used to apply tilak, right? So Mother Yashoda and all the Brajvasis, they have the understanding that Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna, he has been blessed by Lord Vishnu, and he becomes the medium for Lord Vishnu to act, and that's how sometimes he is able to kill the demons. That's the understanding of Brajavasis. Because for them, even after seeing Mother Yashoda, even after seeing the Vishwarupa in Krishna's mouth, she is unable to believe because the Vatsalya is so much like this is my boy. Yeah, he may be having some fantastic powers, etc. But that's actually Lord Narayan. Lord Narayan is acting through my child, or Lord Narayan has chosen him to manifest certain things, but actually he's not Narayan. Right? So that's how they think out of so much Vatsalya, they think of Lord Krishna like that. Because if they think, oh, Krishna is the Supreme Personality, immediately, like Devaki, it happened with Devaki and Vasudeva. So Devaki, although she saw Krishna in 400 form, and then again baby Krishna. Correct. Vasudeva requested you become too harmed, otherwise how will I continue? Right? So they started praying also, like in awe and reverence. But here in Brazil there is no awe and reverence. So they are like, this is our son, or this is our friend, or this is our lover, like that. So even Krishna, he applies tilak. Mother Yashoda applies tilak. In fact, there's a description, I think, after Putna's incident. So immediately when Putna was killed, Mother Yashoda carried Krishna and she does chamar, जो हम करते हैं वो याक टेल लेकर के, and then she applies Vishnu tilak, chants the Vishnu mantras and applies tilak for protection of Krishna. So I mean, we do it for a good reason. The Brahma Samhita also confirms that although Lord is always in the Supreme Abode Golok Vrindavan, he is all-pervading. So everything is going on so nicely. Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhuta. As stated in the Vedas, parasya shakti vividhaiva shruyate swabhavika gnana bala kriyacha. His energies are so expansive that they systematically conduct everything in cosmic manifestation without a flaw, although the Supreme Lord is far, far away. So, again, I'm remembering an example Srila Prabhupada gives Hare Krishna. So there's an Atlas का sculpture देखा है किसी ने? हाँ नहीं उसके नाम पे मैप है, but I think उसको Atlas ही बोलते, that guy is Atlas only, right? One who's ऐसा पीठ को उठा करके, right? So पूरा globe उठाया हुआ है, ऐसे weight के अंदर he's getting crushed, right? So that's the conception of God, for people of the West. Yeah, God is someone who's like, who created now to handle. He's like pulling his hair out. एक तो उठाने के लिए अरे उसको खड़ा करो भाई वरना गिर जाएगा, and to manage, he's someone who's probably lost control, or he is finding it too difficult to manage. That's the idea of God, or maybe a demigod, I don't know, which they have. But that's not the case. So here clearly Prabhupada is writing, and there are so many other references also, Krishna himself says that I'm maintaining this entire creation just with a small spark of my splendor. Right? So God doesn't have to work, like you go to work. 9 से 5 में मतलब अपना ड्यूटी करके आता हूँ, उसके बाद वृंदावन वासी के चलो खेल लेंगे फिर थोड़ा ऐसा शाम का जैसे उसका होता है ना स्कूल जाके और फिर खेलो, वैसा नहीं है भगवान का, राइट? So he is Anandamaya Abhyasat. He is enjoying all the time. Madhu, you want to add something? Sure. Okay.
I just want to take my.
Please. No, it's all. You want to add something to it? Sure. Okay, 23. Yatra kale tva anavritam avritam chaiva yoginaha prayatayanti tam kalam Vakshami Bharatarshava Yatra Kale Tva Anavritam Avritam Chaiva Yoginaha Prayatayanti Tam Kalam Vakshami Bharatarshava. Anyone would like to chant the shloka? You want to try? Start. Yatra kale tva anavritam. Go on now. Avritam chaiva yoginaha prayatayanti tam kalam Vakshami Bharatarshava. No? Okay, just read the translation. You can read the translation? Okay, someone else can read the translation? Yes, Madhu.
Best of the Bharatas, I shall have happy from all the yogi because all does or does not come back.
Yeah. So, Krishna explained his supreme abode. I have a supreme abode which is away from everything. He gave us the process that, who can achieve, right? Who can achieve that supreme abode or how to achieve that supreme abode. Now he's describing how to leave the body so that you can attain that supreme destination. So from here, I think till the end of the chapter, 23 to 28, he'll explain how to leave the body so that you can attain that supreme destination. So I think 26 and 27 shloka is for devotees. He's describing particularly for how devotees leave their body. Uske pehle he's discussing how the karmis or the actually not karmis, the karmi yogis or the gyan yogis, right? They try to, or ashtanga yogis, how they plan and leave their body so that they attain a higher destination. So let's see. So here it said, "Oh, best of Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back." So let's. I think we'll read the second paragraph here, right? So if the yogi is perfect, he can select the time and situation for leaving this material world. But if he is not so expert, his success depends on his accidental passing away at a certain suitable time. The suitable times at which one passes away does not come back are explained by the Lord in the next verse. According to Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushan, the Sanskrit word Kala used here refers to the presiding deity of the time. So, हम लोग मुहूर्त देख के काम करते हैं ना, right? Actually, Prabhupada used to say that, and in fact, I heard from some devotees also that what is Shubh Ashubh in this material world, everything is Ashubh. right? Except for anything associated with Krishna, everything else is Ashubh. So what are you seeing? Shubh time, Ashubh time, ye kal, wo kal, kya dekh rahe ho? Right? That's one of the statements. Again, what is true?
Everything else is Shubha.
Yeah,
Only Krishna.
yeah, yeah. And so even our day is divided into different. Say we have. I remember I was actually traveling in one of the cabs, and the cab driver was listening to I don't know what, but something which he listens to every day. He told me. So I forgot the name of the person. So this guy, he would every morning just for 5 minutes listen कि कौन सा काल अच्छा है, कौन सा काल बुरा है, किस काल में आपको लाभ मिलेगा, किस काल में आपको लाभ नहीं मिलेगा. So he would listen to this every single day. So I was curious. I just asked him कि क्या है, and he told me this is something he listens to every day. Okay, what is this? But if we are associated with Krishna, then we are should. Okay, yeah. So there is presiding deity actually. Somebody who is not connected to Krishna, these things may matter. It may matter because for every I think muhurta, right? Muhurta is a time between 45 minutes or so, or maybe 90 minutes sometimes between that. So for every muhurta there is a presiding deity, and that presiding deity will reward you as per your karma, not कि हाँ कुछ भी करो तो मिल जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं है. But as per your karma, right? They'll see, okay, you have some good karma balance and you're doing something auspicious at that particular point in time, they'll reward you. Not that any nonsense you do and they'll reward you. So yeah, and I think one extreme example, I'll just again repeating this. I'm sure you must have heard this from me earlier or somewhere else. So actually, Nakul and Sahadev, one of them, I think Sahadev, he was an expert astrologer. So I think Duryodhan, he went to him and he said, as per astrology, what should I do? What time is good, and what ritual should I perform so that I come out victorious? Right? He's asking one of the Pandavas. And I think Sahadev, being true to his education, without hesitation, he said, okay, you worship Kal Bhairav during the solar eclipse, when the sun and the moon are in the straight line. You worship Kal Bhairav, and anyone who does that will meet with certain victory without fail. So up to date the information, and I think the day later there was solar eclipse. So Duryodhana, he started preparing. Lord Krishna understood me. ये सब होने वाला है. तो बोला अरे कहाँ ये सब बता दिया उसको, अभी करना पड़ेगा कुछ. So he went and he called Yudhishthir Maharaj, he called everyone in the tent, and then he summoned Surya and Chandra. Right? Surya और चंद्र को बुलाया और बोला एक लाइन में खड़े रहो. And then he told Yudhishthir Maharaj, see, this is sun god, this is moon god. Moon is standing right in front of the sun. Now do Kal Bhairav worship, you will be victorious. So अगले दिन होने वाला था, लेकिन एक दिन पहले भगवान ने पर्सनालिटीज को खड़ा कर दिया वहां पर, और कर लो. So Krishna likes to play by the rules, right? He likes to play by the rules. I think we discussed this once. So because it's his own rules, he's given power to certain personalities to award certain benedictions, etc., and to give certain results. So he doesn't want to interfere in that. वरना बोलेगा अरे position दिया फिर मतलब मेरे को powerless बना दिया. Right? If I appoint him a manager, and I give him freedom कि you can spend up to 5 lakh rupees. वो decision आप खुद लो. मेरे से मत पूछो आगे. Then he is about to write a check of 4 lakh rupees to someone else. Hey, no, you cannot. मैं decide करूँगा. So he's saying मुझे क्यों रखा है फिर? Right? So similarly, the Lord, he doesn't want to interfere there. So while maintaining those benedictions or those things, he is still taking care of devotees like that. So therefore, devotee doesn't need to worry कि अरे मैंने कुछ सही काल पे किया कि नहीं किया. And the best thing, I mean, our Yuga Dharma, chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is not bound by anything else. It's not part of the material world only, actually. So how it will be bound by the workings of the material universe? कि ये time पे वो time पे जो it the timings, they definitely would affect us if we do something in Brahma Muhurat. Our attention, say for example, is better, right? Or we are undisturbed even physically. Forget the effect of the time, but even physically, half of the world is sleeping. So we are able to do and concentrate much better. So like that, we can definitely take help from these things, but we should know for a fact that if you're chanting nicely, I mean, it doesn't matter. You can chant nicely at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the night also. It's all fine. You can chant 24 hours, nothing is stopping you. Is there a mobile nearby? Because this is I'll keep it here. Anyways, oh. Okay, let's try the next one. Agnir Jyotir Aha Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vilojanaha. Yeah. Someone can read the translation?
Those who know the Supreme Bhagwan attains the Supreme
Brahman.
sorry. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attains the Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery day.
Fiery God.
Sorry. In the light, it is auspicious moment of the day during the fortnight of the waxing moon or during the 6th month when the sun travels in the night.
Okay. So I think I'll connect the previous verse here. So the yogis, they're able to control their breath, right? Because of which they can actually manipulate and control their life. We discussed this, I think, previously as well. Like Prabhupada was showing, to devotees when they had gone to Prayag, Allahabad, he was showing, oh, this person is actually 700 years old. This person is 800 years old. So devotee like, अरे 800-700 साल का कौन होता है? So, but there are yogis who are able to control their breath, and because of which they are able to prolong their life. Right. So everyone's life, the number of breaths are counted. Therefore, if you do, certain activities in mode of passion too much, you're actually moving closer to death very fast. Right. So, So yogis basically, they are controlling their breath also in order to leave at a proper time. Right. Like Uttarayan is considered to be very, very nice. In fact, Bhishma Dev, he set an example as well. He had Ichha Mrityu. He was lying and he was waiting for Uttarayan. Actually, he was waiting for Krishna to come and give darshan. And the Lord made him famous by asking him to speak to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Those instructions. So that's part of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, but he chose. As soon as the sun entered Uttarayan, he left his body. Actually, today is also the same day, right? Uttarayan starts. So, Radharaswari temple also opening happened during this time. So, yogis, they have to, really, really make sure that they leave their body at the right time. Otherwise, they could have a completely different destination. It is a hit and miss also, because they don't know the number of breaths, right? Kitna hai. But they are trying to control so that they can leave at a good time. And I said that one who passes away in Uttarayan during the light, during the fortnight of waxing moon, 6 months when the sun travels in north. So it's also the morning time for the demigods, right? So Dakshinayan is their night, Uttarayan is their daytime, Am I correct? Yeah. So that's also, daytime for the demigods. Destination could be higher planets. Nighttime destination could be lower planets, like that. But for a devotee, it doesn't matter. For a devotee, it doesn't matter. No matter what time he leaves the body, he has performed his devotional service nicely. Like you saw the example, Bhagavan ne khada kar diya sun moon ko, right? Krishna is there, will be there personally to take you back and back to Godhead, or Prabhupada would be personally there to take you back and back to Godhead. So for a devotee, there's no consideration of auspicious, inauspicious, because he's constantly in touch with Krishna, so everything is auspicious. I was hearing one class by Among Leela Prabhu only, he was describing, I was hearing this on Glories of Lord Shiva. So he was describing how he drank the poison, right? And he's known as Neelkant. So not because of the poison.
Throat became blue.
Yeah, it became blue, but that's not because of the poison.
Holding, like, I don't know.
By the poison.
They didn't want him to follow poison. I might have known that.
No. So, no, Mother Parvati is not holding his head.
Cartoon, like,
Cartoon is different story, Prabhu. Yeah. So, very beautiful explanation he gives. He's like Lord Shiva's kantha, right? His throat is always filled with the holy names of, the Supreme Lord Krishna and Lord Ram, like that. So, which is Amrit, right? Which is, nectar. So, what will halal do to it? Halal itself will be purified. And because he is always chanting the glories of Krishna, his kantha is blue, right? Krishna color, like that. So that was a different angle of vision and very interesting. Okay, so let's read the next one. Do you want to add something? Sorry, add something.
So when you're talking about now, devotees of relation to the Jew story, temple construction. So there was this city staying close by.
I think it's
Was staying close by, and that to get this temple land, and there was a lot of struggle. So the owner, if you are there in the evening, you will see the drama. It's very beautiful drama, and it performed at 7:30. So the owner, Mr. Nair, who was selling the land to his father, to Prabhupada, at that time, he was a cheater actually. So he would give the land to people and then take some money and then not give them the land eventually. Like that, the same thing happened with Prabhupada also. He gave the land and he did not take, he took the money, some money, and then refused to give the land. So there was a lot of struggle. So this Settiji, who was very staying close by, he was very Kshatriya kind of person. So he had helped the devotees a lot, and he helped in building the temple here. You know full details of how he helped.
You continue. He basically helped in construction. He actually sat with a gun himself because, others were. Mr. Nair had sent goons to kind of destroy, the makeshift structure that was there. So एक बार तोड़ भी दिया था. Then Shetty sat with gun himself. बारिश हो रहा था. He got his own people to actually construct overnight. एक रात में they had created, because अगर कुछ नहीं होता था, the court would have given an order कि temple cannot come there. But then in one night, he got his people and he sat there himself with a gun, and construction happened, because of which the next day in court, their case kind of held
The
weight.
court said that
अभी
now
बन
that
गया,
there
बन
is
गया.
temple, it's there. You cannot do anything now. So the court was closed because of the weekend. In the weekend, they had to complete the whole temple. They made the whole temple, and the court said that now it's ready. It's ready. Nothing can be done. You cannot move it now. So when Prabhupada told Settiji, he said that you have built Krishna's home here. Krishna will build your home back in the spiritual world. So like that, we see that because the devotee has rendered service, so Krishna is taking personal care. He doesn't have to worry about, like it's mentioned in this verse, about leaving the body at a particular time, an auspicious time or something like that.
For a devotee, it's not so much of a concern. So, like that, there are other stories also you can tell. What Maharaj from Japan.
Japan, sir.
Hare Krishna. So there was, I think I'll probably repeat it. So I'm saying there's this sannyasi, his name is Sudama Swami Maharaj, who is there in Japan, his Prabhupada's disciple. For some reason, he left the movement and he again went back to his old habits, etc. So he was out of devotee community, but while Prabhupada was there, he had actually served a lot. When Prabhupada was there on the planet, so he very dedicatedly served a lot. So Prabhupada left the body. There are many disciples who got, kind of discouraged and left, etc. So Sudama Maharaj was one of them. So he had single-handedly, started preaching in Krishna consciousness in Japan during those days. So when he left, devotees wanted to kind of try and get in touch with him, but then somehow or the other he made sure that he's somewhere where nobody can get in touch, etc. So after some years, Sudama Maharaj was very, very ill. He was about to leave his body. And somehow or the other, I think his mother got in touch with devotees. As soon as the devotees heard, they all came. And every day, practically, they were there sitting beside Sudama Maharaj, reading Bhagavatam, doing Kirtan, bringing him Charnamrit, etc. So time came where Sudama Maharaj was about to leave his body. And how he left, his last words were, "Oh, Prabhupada, you've come." And he passed. So even though he did not continue for good 1 decade after Prabhupada left, he left Krishna consciousness out of touch completely. But then how Krishna arranged to his mother, her mother saw some devotees. So that's how she realized, hey, my son used to go here, called them. And then, in the last days, they were chanting for Sudama Maharaj and he left in such a way. Somebody who served very nicely. It said actually, somebody who, Prabhupada said this in fact, and it's there, I guess, in CC as well. Somebody who's distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, right? Prabhupada said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will personally come and take you. And I forgot the other one, where someone else said, Prabhupada will personally come and take you. I forgot. So yeah, so it's actually practical. It's not that कि हम हवा में बातें कर रहे हैं, किसने देखा है, right? Krishna saying, whatever you remember at the time of death, that destination you attain. He said, and he saw Prabhupada coming to take him, like, oh, Prabhupada, you've come, and he left. Yeah. So the mystic yogi, you're not chanting the sloka, right? Okay. Let's chant sloka number 25. Dhumoratris-tatha Krishna Sanmasa Dakshinayam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotir Yogi Prapya Nivartate Dhumoratris-tatha Krishna Sanmasa Dakshinayam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotir Yogi Prapya Nivartate. So, like to read the translation. Yeah.
The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon,
Waning moon,
or the 6th month, when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back.
So, the yogi who was not able to, give up his body during Uttarayan, accidentally, Dakshinayan रुक जाता है, उसका क्या होता है? So Lord is clarifying here, right? Those who pass during the smoke, the night, the fortnight, or waning moon. Waning, I think, is declining, right? Declining moon, waxing is growing bigger. Declining moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. Why he reaches the moon planet? Because again, because of his pious activities, not that कि अरे गलती हो गया तो मतलब सीधा hell में जाएगा, right? If he's not able to control his breath properly and he has to accidentally leave during Dakshinayana, still he has a good destination in terms of कि हाँ चलो picnic बना के आ जाएगा उस moon पे. Moon is it's like a Swargaloka, and it's filled with enjoyment, Somarasa and all of that. So he'll spend some good number of years and then he comes back. It's very, very risky, very risky. So it is described that how I was hearing actually one of the videos on cosmology. So when you actually enter Swarga, you have at least a lifespan of 1,000,000 years. At least 1,000,000 years. You have a lifespan of at least 1,000,000 years. I mean, it depends on your karmas, etc. also, but this is a standard which I heard in one of the videos by His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhu. So, out of which, sorry, not million, I think 100,000 years, my bad, 100,000 years. So, of which 90,000 years you spend, in proper Swarga, right? And then 10,000 years there is Bhauma Swarga. So he was describing, the life in Swargaloka. It's very elaborate. I'm not getting into that right now. But then even Bhauma Swarga is, the Bhumandala, where there are different sections. So there are bigger sections of Bhumandala. Earth is also part of Bhumandala actually. But there are bigger sections of Bhumandala which are the Swarga, Bhuswargas, like that. So there you spend 10,000 years. Like that. So once you fall from there, you actually take birth in one of the Bhuswargas, spend 10,000 years and then come back, maybe to earth, like that. So that's the description, that entire description, that how turns into a rain cloud and drop and etc. That's actually going into Bhuswarga. It's not earth directly. It was interesting to know that actually. So even in Bhuswarga, you live like a king. You have the strength of 10,000 elephants, and you can do wonderful things essentially. So that's the kind of enjoyment they'll go through and come back, because they're yogis essentially, so they'll come back. So the third kind of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni mentioned those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attain moon at death. These elevated souls live on moon for about 10,000 years. By demigod calculation, enjoy the life by drinking somarasa. They eventually return to earth. This means that on the moon, there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by gross senses. So here it's mentioned 10,000 years by demigod calculation. Right. Okay, let's read the next one. So I think from here, how a devotee leaves his body, that's more elaborately stressed on. Shukla Krishna Gati Hyeti Jagata Shashvate Mate Ekaya Yati Anavrittam Anyaya Vartate Punaha Shukla Krishna Gati Hyete Jagata Shashvate Mate Ekaya Yati Anavrittam Anyaya Vartate Punaha. So we can read the translation.
According to the Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world. One is light and one is doubt. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns.
The same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baldev Vidyabhushan in the Chandogya Upanishad 5.10 to 3 to 5. Those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain the ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna. Okay, so yeah, again the same piece is being repeated here. One who passes in light attains higher destinations. One who passes in darkness, they have to return.
Darkness and lightness mentioned here about the Uttarayana and
Correct.
night and
Uttarayana and Dakshinayana.
Just
So-
6 months.
Correct, 6 months period.
Not day, right?
Day and night for demigods. So our 6 months is their day, our 6 months is their night, like that. So Uttarayan, which starts from today, the sun starts moving towards the north. So that's Uttarayan. That's daytime for demigods. Okay. 27. Naites three partha gnana. Sriti, sorry. Naites sriti partha gnana. Yogi muyati kaschana. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Yoga yukta avarjuna. Sorry, from here I think talk of devotees is starting. Okay. Prabhu, you can Amit Prabhu, you can read the translation.
Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion.
So Krishna is concluding, you don't have to worry. Right? Although the devotees know the two paths, although the information is given to you now, right? Arjuna, they are never devotees are never bewildered. Therefore, we always fixed in devotion. So Krishna is here advising Arjuna that he should not be disturbed by different paths the soul can take when leaving the material world. A devotee of Supreme Lord should not worry whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. Devotees should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. You should know that concern over either of the two paths is troublesome. The best ways to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to always be always dovetailed in his service, and this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. Very important. Right? The word yoga yukta is especially significant in this verse. One who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Srila Rupa Goswami advises anasaktasya vishayan yatharam upayunjita nilbandham Krishna sambandha yukta vairagya uchyate. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called as yukta vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. So, just like Prabhuji was, giving so many examples, he spoke about Sudama Maharaj, he spoke about Sethi Ji. So, there are several examples like that. Right? Prabhupada himself, I think he left his body somewhere in November, right? Which is technically not Uttarayan, right? But again, in Vrindavan during Kartik, right? And his entire life is filled with complete absorption in Krishna. There's not even a moment's time which is going wasted in something else. So when you have such absorption, you are completely prepared. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes how when you're chanting, he gives different kinds of meditations. So one meditation is you can also meditate, how terrible I am, and helplessly take shelter of the holy name. Right. Another meditation he gives is you should always think that I can die today. Today is the last. Like I was hearing Gurujan Prabhu's class. He had actually taken a japa seminar. So he was describing how when you're chanting, chant as if this is the last mantra we are about to chant. Uske baad saat bandhane wala hai. Right? If that is how then the quality of chanting will be really nice. So one of the meditations actually that I can die at any point, and that's true. I mean, Shukdev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj is lucky to have a notice for 7 days. We don't have one. It can happen anytime, any moment, any second. So, are we really prepared? Are we prepared? So, therefore, Prabhupada, he has given us this program. And see, it's not that we have to do, हमको जैसा पहाड़ तोड़ना है, to be prepared. वैसे देखा जाए तो it's near impossible. पहाड़ तोड़ने से बहुत ज़्यादा है, right? But our acharyas, our Guru Janas have simplified this so nicely for us. And Prabhupada ने तो guarantee दिया है, you chant Hare Krishna, right? You do service and you follow four regulative principles and you will go back and back to body. He's made the process so simple, and because he's promised, Krishna is now obliged. वरना तो impossible था. It's not easy, right? Krishna is not cheap. It's very, very difficult. But since a pure devotee has given promise, you will chant Hare Krishna, you will chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra at least. Follow the four regulative principles nicely. Do your morning program, sadhana, do deity worship, etc. Do some service. Do your job also, no problem. But do these things very dedicatedly. And you'll go back and back. तो हमको बहुत ऐसा मतलब भारी भरकम डिस्काउंट मिल गया है. We simply have to follow the program given by Srila Prabhupada. And literally, I mean, if you would have gone through reading scriptures to understand the kind of standards mentioned in different places, first of all, impossible to follow. Second, there are different acharyas talking different things also. It can be super confusing. So Prabhupada actually, he's read all the different acharyas, he's read everything. उसका ऐसा निष्कर्ष निकाल करके डिस्काउंट लगा करके is given us. So it's very, very simple. And even despite all of this, if we don't become serious and sincere, right? Now it's on us to take it or not, isn't it? But the ball is in our court. इससे ज़्यादा discount कौन देगा? Right? So if we don't become sincere and serious, I think we are just missing out on something really, really big. You want to add something? So here Rupa Goswami was mentioning Yukta Vairagya. So not that we have to give up everything, etc. Or like the yogis go and sit in the jungle, but use everything in service of Krishna. Whatever we have, utilize everything in service of Krishna under the direction of your seniors and Guru. Right? Use everything in service of Krishna, and by this method, we can go back to that. Okay, we'll read the next two. It's already 156. We'll finish the chapter. Next one, last chapter. Vedeshu yagneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarva idam viditva yogi param sthanam upeti chadyam Vedeshu yagneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarva idam viditva yogi param sthanam upeti chadyam. Read the translation.
Person who accepts the path of devotion service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerity, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and sportive activities. Simply by performing devotion service, he attains all this, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal life.
Yeah. So, a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austerity, sacrifices, giving charity, and pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these and at the end reaches the supreme eternal abode. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kahe Sudrida Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Pitahaya. Faith means that by performing devotional service, by worshipping Krishna, Sarva karma krita hai, right? Everything else is also covered, right? I don't need to separately do yajna, separately do something else, or separately study some, Padma Puran karunga मैं जाकर के या कोई और पुराण पढ़ूंगा जाकर के. If you're practicing devotional service, if you're reading Prabhupada's books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gita, etc. So everything else is covered. You don't need to over endeavor Sometimes you read a lot of books also, it becomes confusing. The brain becomes. It has happened to devotees actually. It has happened to devotees. So many books here and there they read, they're conflicted in their head. Right? The faith is shaken sometimes. Right? So the things have been simplified for us. पहले इतना तो कर लें प्रॉपर ने इतने बुक्स दिए कि एक लाइफ टाइम के लिए काफी है to go through them nicely. One lifetime is less. तो उससे बाहर निकल करके और आप क्या पढ़ोगे, right? हाँ, there are Acharya books. Should Prabhupada mention that yes, you should definitely, once you finish all these, you should definitely read some Acharya books as well, because again, they are also describing, like there are Vaishnava songs which has, so topmost mood of service to Krishna like that. There are many Acharya books describing different aspects of bhakti. But beyond that, oh, I'll read Shankaracharya's commentary, I'll read this commentary, I'll read that commentary, I'll read, some other Purans, कुछ और लिखा है. उससे क्या होगा? Too much of information अंदर इतना खिचड़ी पक जाएगा. You will be confused. Right? So this verse summarizes chapter 7 and 8 by describing the supreme position of bhakti path. At the end of chapter 6, that is verse 46-47, we heard that devotees are greater than ascetics, tapasvis, empress, jnanis, and fruitive workers, karmis. This verse clarifies that point by explaining how a devotee is the best. By his devotion, a devotee automatically gains the result of all other paths without even desiring them. Right? Without even desiring that path or attempting to go on those paths, we are already having the result of those paths by, as a byproduct of performing bhakti. More importantly, however, devotees enter the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada places these two chapters in context of the entire Bhagavad-gita. The word idam viditva indicate that one should understand the instructions given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad-gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees. Chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of Bhagavad-gita. The first 6 and last 6 chapters are like covering of the middle 6 chapters. They are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad-gita, especially these middle 6 chapters, in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations, etc. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness. So if one simply understands Bhagavad-gita nicely, Krishna says, Janma karma chavidya, one understands my birth, my activities to be divya, right? Doesn't have to come back to the material world. So if you just try to understand these middle 6 chapters very nicely and thoroughly, I think you can actually achieve the highest results of all these sacrifices, etc. put together. You want to add something?
I was thinking when we were reading about this verse that we don't need to sometimes as devotees also we might feel that I came to Krishna consciousness so late. And I see so many other devotees who are so expert.
Correct.
Expert in knowing Slokas, expert in doing Kirtan, expert in speaking, expert in philosophy. And then we also sometimes might feel that like that.
Good feeling.
In one sense, it's very good to feel like that. At the same time, we should not feel that kuch ho nahi sakta much. So, because at the end of it all, what matters is the quality of our heart, the consciousness. So, if we make the best endeavor, the best effort, doing our best, the best we can, that is enough. So, in our situation, in our capacity, whatever best we can do, we do that, then that is enough. So, we don't have to become scholars, we don't have to become whatever we might see even around us, like that. So,
So, thank you for sharing this. It reminded me of one very nice story, short one. So, Khatwal Maharaj, I think you were hearing this the other day by Sundar Chaitanya. So, Khatwal Maharaj, he actually achieved perfection in one moment, right?
is the epitome of how one can practice and how quickly one can attain the Lord. A great example. So Katwanga Maharaj is a personality, he was a king, he was very expert in fighting. He was a great devotee and very expert in fighting. So he would assist the demigods in fighting demons. Demigods को कभी बोले भारी पड़ गए, उनको कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. So they would request Katwanga Maharaj to join them so that they could defeat the demons. So once like this, Katwanga Maharaj very expertly fought and सबको भगा दिया, सारे demons को भगा दिया. So the demigods were extremely pleased. And they said, Katwang Maharaj, you fought so valiantly for us. Ask something from us. Right? So Katwang Maharaj is thinking, ये तो खुद मेरे पे dependent है. They're themselves coming and begging कि भाई हमको protection दो. And they're now asking कि ask for some boon. What will I ask them? Right? And then he goes on to think that since they are, surrounded by opulence all the time, surrounded by wealth, fame, beauty, etc., they're full with opulences. But what is the use? They're still in anxiety. They still have to come to beg to me for protection. So, ये मांग के क्या फायदा? What is the benefit of asking, any material thing? They themselves परेशान है उससे. Why? Because the demons are attacking them for the very same thing. And Katwang Maharaj is not like in some scarcity. He's already a king. Like, एक सब क्या मांगो वैसे? He's already thinking like that. So he asked the boon, okay, tell me how much more time I had. Because devotee is always concerned. Like I just told you, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was saying that, think that you're about to die and chant take full shelter like that. So he asked, how much time do I have? So the demigod was calculating with 1 moment, as per demigods. 1 moment. So immediately left, came back here, just gave up everything and sat to focus or meditate on the Supreme Lord and went back to meditation. So yeah, you don't have to become experts like Roji was saying or worry. It can happen in one moment also. 1 moment of full surrender. Right? You just have to decide. Prabhupada in the 2nd chapter, last verse, I think discusses this, and Prabhupada in that class he says, 1 moment is enough, right, to become Krishna conscious. So yeah, you decide that Krishna, I'm yours. Okay. Any questions? Any reflections?
Just because this topic, in Katwang Maharaj's case, he already had the conviction that he has to absorb himself in Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
So 1 moment, but half
Utilization हो गया.
half our life goes into getting that conviction. So
You still have the other half to practice.
so when you said that he achieved perfection in 1 moment, so it's just his decision to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness, not.
So he decided and he absorbed himself.
Like in Dhruva Maharaj's case, we see he was not so convinced that he has to go to Krishna, but he wants his empire.
Right.
So he practiced 6 months and then he got convinced when he saw the Lord in front of him.
Yes.
But whenever this Bhagwan Maharaj story comes into himself, this is the question that comes. He is already convinced of the fact that he has to absorb himself in Krishna consciousness. That is the right thing. Then why is it given as the best example that okay, in 1 moment also you can.
Are we convinced? Are we convinced?
So we are not like in the Bhagwan Maharaj state.
Yeah, but I'm asking, are we convinced? At least philosophically, intellectually, are we convinced? We may not show that conviction in practice yet because we are very immature. At least intellectually, are we convinced?
Yes, but the anarthas
Yeah.
stop us from absorbing completely.
If I tell you you're supposed to die today, what will you do?
But it will be difficult for me to completely absorb it.
Yes, but you'll attempt. So we are not sadhana siddhas, we are kripa siddhas. Right? So if Krishna sees that you're really, really trying, that's what's needed. Does that make sense? Prabhu, am I saying something wrong? So Krishna is actually waiting for an opportunity to give you mercy, to be honest. So if we have followed what our spiritual master has said, if we have followed, right, even though mechanically for now, right, but we have followed, right, not that we have not followed. So Giriraj Maharaj, he was giving one very nice example to a very similar question posed by Bhakti Charuswan Maharaj. So he was saying, ki Maharaj, when we are, working, etc., we are in different zones, we are handling different things. How can we at the last moment absorb our thoughts and mind in Krishna, right? So Giriraj Maharaj, he explained how, just like, flight is there. You sit in the flight and, when the takeoff is there, you realize there's takeoff. So there's a lot of pressure and, suddenly you have whiplash and you're like, thrown back into your seat like this, when it runs at full speed, etc. So you realize you're taking off, right? There's a realization, yes, there's a takeoff. But when you're in the air, after some time you reach that, 30,000, 40,000 feet, then you don't feel anything. Then it's going ahead, but you don't feel much. ऐसा लगता है कि हम वहीं पर खड़े हैं. But in fact, you are moving ahead, right? And then when you're about to land, again you feel like landing हो रहा है. So what he's trying to say is, when we start practicing devotional service in the beginning, it's like takeoff. We realize, अरे हाँ, इतना सारा cleaning हो रहा है, इतना. You're enthusiastic also, and there's direct reciprocation. Krishna predominantly so much कि ऐसे you're overwhelmed like that. So you realize, takeoff हो गया. But then, when you're in the sky, you're moving. तभी पता नहीं चलता है, तभी ऐसा लगता है, am I progressing, am I not progressing, what is happening really, right? But the fact at that time, even for the pilots, is, all the systems that are telling, yes, they're moving in the right direction, right? There are different machines fitted out there to tell you you're moving in the right direction. It may look slow, it may look you're not moving, but actually you're moving. So similarly, when the path is chalked out by our acharyas that you do this, and this, these are the symptoms at different stages, which means you're moving. Now you may argue, oh, I'm not seeing those symptoms, so I'm not moving maybe. And that's what Bhakti Charana asked. So beautiful answer Giriraj Maharaj gave. He said that Krishna, he is time. Krishna, he is actually the time factor. So he can pack a million years in a moment. Right? He can pack a million years in a moment. That's what also happened during Rasa Leela, right? So if somebody helplessly and fully surrenders to Krishna, even at the last moment, last moment, somehow the other, by grace of the Lord, by purva, samskars, etc., bhakti or mukha sukriti, etc., he says, no, Krishna, I am yours, I surrender to you. Right? In that last moment, Krishna can, unpack or pack, so many realizations. And so Maharaj gave the answer to Bhakti Charana saying that, we are trying to serve Srila Prabhupada following instructions. All these symptoms may not manifest right now, but maybe it can together manifest at the last moment of death also. So for us, of course, we can keep a check and balance. Are we progressing or not? Keep pushing. Try our best, right? Put our best effort and leave the rest in you. That's what we can do. So if you realize, oh, today I'm supposed to die, yes, put your best effort. And I mean, it's up to the Lord also. Yeah, it's not that हर एक कोई चलो ले जाओ, ऐसा नहीं है. The Lord knows what are anarthas are remaining, what is not remaining, and basis what you've done so far, He may choose to immediately take you back. Right? He may, even though you may not have felt कि अरे हाँ मेरा इतना progress हुआ, but He knows कि कितना बाकी है, कितना नहीं है. He may clear off at the last instant also, or He may choose to, maybe 3 more lifetimes, 2 more lifetimes, whatever. Like that. So at least that's my understanding. So please correct me. You can also correct me. So this is my understanding, to be honest. I don't have more references for this, but this is my understanding. You wanted to ask something? Kirtan Yasadari. Yes. You wanted to ask something? Okay, there's no prasad today. Let's come back to that. I'm just joking. Okay, we'll stop here and we'll go for prasad. Hare Krishna. Kirtan karna hai? Oh, huh. So we have Kirtan, 2 minutes Kirtan, and there is cake cutting for Prabhuji. I forgot his name. Krishna. Krishna yaad aa raha tha. Krishna is the other guy. Krishna. Yeah. So Kirtan and cake cutting together. Please come ahead.
His birthday was there Monday.
One of yours. Just pass this mic.
Today from the Bhāratas.
Yes. So very important announcement before we get started here. So there's flag hoisting at 4:30, right? Then there is Abhishek at 6 o'clock. And then there is a drama at 7:30. There is also classes by senior devotees around 7 o'clock? 8 o'clock. And there's feast prasadam at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, sorry. So there's a lot of programs during the day, since this is the day where temple opened. So Brahma Utsav for Lord Bhāratas Bihari ji. So those who can stay around, please stay around. किसी को बहुत दूर जाना है तो they can either be in the temple या आसपास में किसी devotee के घर पे rest ले लो. Try and be around and take part in the festival.
Anything online, Prabhuji?
You can actually watch this entire proceedings online. I think from 6 o'clock on ISKCON Juhu Live. YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have the cake cutting now. Stop recording. Just a second.